Getting ready for our turkey talk conversation that we have every single year with our friends from Butterball, and they do an outstanding job, and they can really help you through the trying times, and that's why we do it to help you get through these holidays and have the perfect turkey. We have Nicole with us. Hi, Nicole.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Well, thank you for being gracious enough to help our people get the perfect bird.
Absolutely.
And
I will tell you that I'm looking around the room right now when we have several men and women answering the phone. Please reach out to us, 1-800-Butterball. There's so many other ways to reach us. Of course, we've
Sure.
evolved with technology over the 40 years that we've been open. You can email, chat, text. Of course, we're on social media. So we're certainly here to help everyone get cooking.
Absolutely. And there's so many different, as you mentioned, ways to contact you, but also so many different options of preparing your turkey and different things that maybe you never even thought about doing, right? Because you guys have a number of different recipes on your website.
Oh, we sure do. Butterball.com incorporates a lot of really fun ways to use that leftover turkey or, to your point, different ways of preparing your turkey. The preferred method of cooking the turkey is the open pan method. It's easiest, it's very consistent, nice uniform results. It's a simple 325 oven from start to finish. Open pan means no lid, no cover. And regardless if you use the open pan method, if you want to try something a little bit different like a deep fry method, a lot of folks are doing outdoor celebrations again because of the pandemic. They may be grilling their turkey. We have recommendations for charcoal or gas. You want to remember who your best friend is over the holiday season, and that's your meat thermometer. Really, it's the best way to check for doneness. It's going to register 180 in the thigh and 170 in the breast, and that's for best eating quality.
And for anybody who's not familiar where the thigh is on a turkey bird, if you look at the leg and you see that big hunk of meat that comes up off the leg, that's where your thigh is, you know.
Well,
Yeah,
it's funny, but really, a lot of folks don't. A
I
lot of
don't.
folks don't cook a turkey year round, right? And so, with that
Right.
said, if you're a visual learner like myself, you can hop on the Butterball.com website. We have a lot of how-to videos on there, and one of which shows exactly where to place that meat thermometer.
Exactly.
Shows you exactly where that thigh is at and exactly where that breast meat is at.
You know, and everybody thinks it's so easy to do. So one of the things I want to do, Nicole, with you today is let's just get started from very beginning of buying your turkey or buying your roast or your turkey breast and thawing it properly and getting it in. So let people know it's not an overnight thing. People sometimes think, well, I'll go get that bird and we'll thaw it, we'll put it in a bathtub, we'll thaw it real quick, we'll go put it in. You really don't want to do that. You want that bird to be absolutely perfect. And Butterball makes such a good turkey that you don't want to waste a great turkey on an improperly cooked bird.
I agree. And so you are right. Let's take it from the top.
Sure.
So as far as what size turkey to purchase, we do recommend 2 pounds per person, and that 2 pound really allows for generous leftovers. We have 4 little Butterballs at home, so we have a family of 6. So with that 2 pound recommendation, we buy at least a 12, maybe even a 15-pound turkey. So the next question we're going to ask our cooks, are they going to stuff their turkey or leave it unstuffed? I'll ask you, do you folks stuff your turkey or do you leave it unstuffed?
We leave it unstuffed and actually prepare stuffing on the side. Now, I know a lot of
Sure.
people that do stuff it inside the bird. My mother always stuffed it inside the bird. And I actually like that because it has the flavor of the bird in the stuffing.
Right. Personal preference. Now, if you do decide to put the stuffing inside of the turkey cavity, you do want to remember that it does increase your cook time.
Right.
It's still going to be a 325 oven from start to finish, but it is going to increase your cook time.
That's correct.
So when a caller will ask how long to cook, we'll simply ask them what size, if they're going to stuff it or leave it unstuffed, and then we'll give them a range. So, for example, if I had a turkey that weighed between 10 to 18 pounds, unstuffed is only 3 to 3.5 hours. Stuffed is 3 hours and 45 to 4.5, so roughly 4 hours. So it does tack on about an extra half hour to an hour.
Right.
But the prep work is very simple. To your point, it does take a number of days to thaw the turkey. In fact, refrigeration method takes 24 hours for every 4 pounds of turkey meat. So your 16-pound turkey is going to take 4 full days in the fridge to thaw. So that's your first thing to keep in mind. After you have it purchased, do allow for a decent amount of days in which to thaw it.
Right.
And one little tip you want to remember is oftentimes you may get a little bit of seepage through the bag when it's thawing, and you certainly don't want to contaminate your refrigerator with those raw poultry juices. So go ahead and put a tray underneath the turkey as it's thawing, and that will help to collect any potential juices that are going to seep through that bag.
Cookie sheet
So
works great with lips. Cookie sheet with lips.
It sure does. Anything with a lip, you got it. You got it.
Okay.
Then the day of, the prep work, again, is very simple. You're going to go ahead and remove the bag from the turkey, drain the juices over the kitchen sink. You're going to pat it dry with a paper towel. And one thing that some folks forget to do is to remove that giblet bag. The heart, the liver, and the gizzard are contained in a food-safe bag.
Yes, they
or what
are.
we refer to as the giblets. A lot of folks will go ahead and discard those. My mom personally will go ahead and she'll incorporate them into her stuffing, believe it or not. She's certain that's what gives her stuffing its delicious flavor.
Absolutely.
So it's personal preference. But in situations, we'll get a phone call where someone is panicking. They realize halfway through the cook time that they've forgotten to remove that giblet bag.
Yeah.
We know that can be a common mistake. Butterball has housed those, again, in a food-safe bag. They will not be, edible after roasting them. The giblets are going to be extremely mushy in consistency, so you just want to go ahead and discard them. In the other cavity of the turkey, though, is also the neck of the turkey. Again, a lot of folks may use that. A lot of folks will just discard it. So 2 things to keep in mind. Ideally, if you have an open pan around 2 to 2.5 inches tall, that is the best kind of pan to roast your turkey in. And if you have a flat rack to put in the bottom of the pan and then put the turkey on top of that, that helps to elevate the turkey up off the pan and allow for some nice hot circulating air around the turkey. Now, if you have no flat rack, you could also use large carrots, which a lot of folks will have in their fridge, or you could also substitute a rack for what we call a coil of foil, and that's simply ripping off a long sheet of foil, scrunching it into what looks like a snake, and then forming a coil or a circular or like an oval type shape. And you can put that at the bottom of the pan and put your turkey on top of that.
That radiation heat is so important to get that even cook all the way around the turkey, isn't it?
It really is, and that's why we do promote the 325 oven from start to finish. We'll get a phone call where somebody may want to try something new. Maybe they want to start it out at a 475 or a 500. That's just going to burn the outside of the skin and really overcook the outside. So again, that 325 uniform temp from start to finish. And another thing to keep in mind is after the turkey's been cooking for a couple hours, you may take a peek and notice that the breast area is starting to brown faster than the rest of the turkey. You could take a piece of foil about the size of a notebook sheet of paper, and you can simply tent or shield that breast area, and that promotes the rest of the turkey to come up to speed, to brown it up a bit more.
Right. It takes a lot longer for the dark meat to cook than the white meat.
It sure does. It sure does.
So
again, that's why you're going to use that meat thermometer, 180 in that thigh muscle.
Absolutely, and by tenting that white meat, by the way, you keep it much more moist too. And of course, Butterball turkeys are always moist anyway. They're so delicious. But you don't want to get it burnt to where that very surface skin right there, right below the skin is burnt. You don't want that. And I tell you, what you're talking about is absolutely the perfect way to keep that breast meat absolutely just flavorful and tender.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we agree. And to your point, that's another advantage of the Butterball turkeys. Throughout the breast area, it's they're injected with a saltwater brine solution for enhanced tenderness and juiciness. That's in the deep thigh muscle. So to your point, it will always be delicious.
It always is. And I'm a favorite of dark meat myself. So the first thing I do is go for the dark meat. A lot of people like the white meat first, but I love the dark meat. And I'll tell you, there's nothing better than a Butterball thigh right now to pull that dark meat off. And then I love to make sandwiches with it later.
Yes. In fact, we had mentioned some fun recipes I know a bit earlier. Uh, we are on social media, particularly TikTok and our Butterball.com website, and we have a really fun new way to make a turkey sandwich. Believe it or not, it involves a waffle iron, and it incorporates all your leftovers, and you're going to take the stuffing or macaroni and cheese, and you're going to make your waffle using those ingredients.
Okay.
And then, of course, in between would be your turkey meat. You can even use a little green bean, little cranberry, some sweet potato.
Wow.
It sounds a little out there, but I'm telling you, it's delicious. You got to
No.
try that one out.
No, I'm telling you, the stuffing is breading anyway, so it makes your crust.
Oh, it's delicious.
Oh.
My kids love that one.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, of course, we're in the middle of we're almost done cooking our bird right now, so I don't want to get too far off base. But I really hope that people do take a look at some of the recipes, because I took a little quick gander at them here about a day or so ago, and I thought, wow, I have never thought about making a turkey wrap with fresh turkey. You
Yes.
think about
Yes,
it.
that one's delicious.
Always thought about doing it after the fact, but why not right out of the oven when you take that first taste of turkey? Why not put a wrap together? I can imagine how tender and just juicy that's going to be.
It's delicious, and we have all of them. All of those recipes are done here in our test kitchen. Of course, Butterball is centralized or located in North Carolina, but here in Chicago area is where we have our call center and our test kitchen, and we have a lot of our chefs and dietitians over the summer testing out all of these recipes. So fortunately, I get to sample all of them.
I was just going to
They are
ask.
very delicious.
I was just going to ask you, do you get a chance
Yes.
to test a few of those?
Oh, I sure do. I'm very spoiled. But
Oh.
yes, they are very delicious. So it's turkey year round. Sampling everything, finding the best ways to incorporate leftover turkey, or to your point, really just fun ways to incorporate the bone-in breast, the boneless breast. Really, turkey can be year round. Even ground turkey for meatballs, we use those quite a bit at our own home. And, of course, turkey for Thanksgiving is most popular,
Sure.
but we're getting quite a few inquiries already as the Christmas holiday is coming up, and it's definitely a great choice for your Christmas meal as well.
It's a fantastic choice, and I was going to get to some that turkey is a year-round food a little bit later on, but I want to get back to where we were. We've got the turkey in the oven; it's just about ready to come on out. We've got our thermometer; we're now at the proper temperature in the thigh, and you're going to bring it out. How long do you need to let the turkey cool before you need to carve it?
Great question. We do recommend letting that cooked turkey sit on the counter for 15 minutes prior to carving, and that does allow the juices to settle and prevents popping or spattering. When it comes to carving, a couple things. One, it sounds silly, but you want to make sure you have a very good sharpened knife ahead of time. And again, we have on the Butterball.com website a couple different videos. There's a couple different ways you can carve your turkey,
Okay.
but there's some really great videos on there. All of our turkeys also come with a leaflet or a paper pamphlet, and we also have a diagram or some tips and tricks for carving, some pictures for that as well.
I was going to say, I remember seeing Butterball has plenty of information when you buy the turkey right there in the tag. So if people just take a little bit of time to open that up and read it, you're going to have virtually everything you need right at hand when you buy your turkey.
Yes, I agree with that. But I will say, though, there's something about that human touch, if you will. By calling us at 1-800-BUTTERBALL, we're live on the other end. We're not artificial intelligence. There's something, I think, to be said about that voice on the other end. And what's really neat about our team here is this is a seasonal position for our group.
Right.
So we're here October, November, and December answering turkey questions. But outside of this seasonal position, people are working their full-time jobs in different areas, all food-related, but they range from registered dietitians, chefs, home economists. We have food scientists, food stylists, really just a broad group of individuals, but they all bring that food background and passion to the table and really help the cooks over the holiday season. So it's a pretty cool group we have, men and women, here to help everyone.
So a lot of experience on your side to let people know that, okay, I did this. Should I have done that? Well, maybe before you cut into your turkey, or maybe if you just have a question about anything about the preparation and the service of your turkey to your guests, just call Butterball and get some nice recommendations on how to garnish it properly and make it look the best.
Absolutely. And I will say, too, that we are open through Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is the last day of the talk line. We're here from 8 to 2, and that is Central Time. But, again, you can call us now through then. You can email, chat, text. And texting is something new that we introduced a couple years back.
Right.
And it's a lot of fun because you can also include a picture with that text.
That's true.
So that's a good reference.
So let's get right back to our bird now. So now we've got the bird, we've prepared it, we've got it all done. The bird's done cooking. We've let it sit. We've got the juices now collected. We've carved our turkey. We have our meal. Nicole, I don't know about your house, but in my house, that turkey was out there, and we went and picked on it for an hour or two afterwards, and maybe even 3, but you're really pushing it at that point. You don't want to leave that bird just exposed to air for an extended period of time, do you?
No, you are correct. From a food safety standpoint, it is ideal to go ahead and slice that leftover uneaten turkey meat off the bone and put it in a Ziploc container or baggie and then put it in the refrigerator so it can begin to cool in a safe environment. The next question then we often get is, how long can I keep those leftovers in the refrigerator? 3 days for leftover turkey in the fridge. And for longer storage, if you're not going to eat them, pop them in the freezer for up to 2 months. So a couple different options there.
Absolutely. And I know myself, I love cold turkey. I love cold turkey sandwiches. And I don't know about you, but I love them.
No, I do.
And the next day after Thanksgiving, I almost rather eat the cold turkey sandwich. No, I love that hot breast. I love the hot breast, but I love the hot thigh even more. But the cold turkey breast, when you cut it off of a beautifully cooked bird, and it just melts in your mouth. You can eat that sandwich, and what I have done in the past is take like Italian bread or a loaf of French bread and carved out the middle and rolled that turkey meat right off the breast, just rolled it right in there, and then decorated it up with a few other additions. And I'll tell you what, you don't get any better eating than that the next day after
that
a
sounds
turkey.
delicious.
I'm
It's
getting you
not
hungry.
even lunchtime, Harry. You're making me hungry.
But these are just some of the great ideas you can do with leftover turkey. But as we talked about just a moment ago, it's an all-year bird. You can have turkey anytime.
You really can. It's very high in protein. It's low in fat. It really is a delicious choice. I agree with you.
Yeah, so I always recommend for people to get turkey in the off season, and then you have it just like you talk about. You prepare it right. You have it for maybe 3 or 4 days after you cook the bird. Then freeze some of it, and about a month later, pull some back out because it's just as good. A Butterball is just as good out of the freezer when you let it thaw properly as it is almost right out of the oven. I don't think it can be anything that can be that good, but it's very, very tasty. Still very tender and still very, I say, mouth-watering because of the injections in the Butterball. It keeps it so moist, and that's the secret.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there really are, again, probably hundreds of recipes on the Butterball.com website. Everything that ranges a turkey pot pie. We have a slow cooker turkey noodle soup. You can do that in a crock pot. Of course, we talked about the many sandwiches, which are always a crowd pleaser at my house. But there's just so many different ways to use turkey. It really is a great choice.
And when we talk about the Butterball Hotline, this is a way that people can start from start to finish. I should say not start from start to finish, but prepare from start to finish by contacting Butterball.com. You can do, like you said, the text, the email, the chat. If you're unsure, you go to the supermarket and you look in that freezer and you see all these different turkeys and you're thinking, what size do I get? What do I need to do? Don't fret it. Come back and easily go online, make that email, make the chat, text, or just call.
Or call us.
Yeah.
Yes, I can't tell you how many times we get phone calls from folks who are in the grocery store. We get that on the daily, and it's fun because you feel like you're transported right there in the grocery cart with them. So those are the good calls. Those are my favorites.
And for people who enjoy turkey all year long, you guys have turkey Butterball checks that people could give as a great stocking stuffer too, don't you?
We do. We have gift checks. Those are available through the corporate at butterball.com, and you can certainly order them in different increments, and it's a great gift to give. It sure is.
Let's talk about, say, a small gathering, because we did this in Las Vegas when we were on vacation one time, and I cannot tell you how fantastic this Thanksgiving meal was when we put it together in like 25 to 30 minutes, because what we did is we got a Butterball breast, just the breast, and we got that. We were at the grocery store. We got the mashed potatoes, the rolls, and everything else. We put the meal together. Of course, we let the breast thaw. It was frozen. We got it thawed. 25 minutes to make a fantastic Thanksgiving dinner. But if you don't have a need for the full turkey and you just want the breast, it's a great option, isn't it?
It sure is. It sure is. And you can cook that from a thawed or a frozen state. Obviously, the frozen state is going to be a longer cook time.
Right.
And that is in the 325 oven. But I think I also mentioned that you can also use it in a crock pot or a slow cooker. That's something you could go ahead and set in the morning and go about your business or do your errands and then come home when the family comes home from school and their activities, and it's a delicious meal.
You just can't really beat the products that Butterball puts out. And there's a lot more, too. You guys have a turkey roast as well, don't you?
We sure do. We sure do. We have a turkey roast that has a string netting around it that holds all of the pieces together. We have a bone-in breast. We have a boneless breast. So a couple different options there, which is ideal for folks who really like that white meat. My family were very big fans of the ground turkey.
Ooh,
We
yeah.
use we use that. We add some breadcrumbs, garlic, some eggs, a little bit of Romano cheese, and we form our own meatballs that way. And then my kids absolutely love it, whether it's with the masticholi or just with a spaghetti noodle, but always a crowd pleaser. We may even make meatball sandwiches with that, with a little bit of cheese over it. To your point, a little bit of Italian bread. I would say ground turkey is probably one of the number one in our house. It's definitely delicious.
How do you work this job and not lose your cool with all this food you're talking about? I mean, you got to be getting hungry all the time. Are you just? Do you have a little turkey sandwich on the side over there? You're not telling me about?
Well, like I said, I'm very lucky because the chefs and the dietitians, they are certainly testing recipes year round, and I'd like to say it's easy, but it can be a little challenging because that test kitchen is just a couple doors over from me, and it smells delicious in here all the time.
I was going to say
It can be a challenge not
the
to eat too
aroma.
much.
You can't escape the aroma of a turkey,
No,
can you?
you cannot. No, you sure can. It's definitely delicious.
And when we talk about doing things the right way, and I want to just say this because at Christmas time we've been having, here in the Midwest, you guys are in Chicago. I don't know if you're having the same weather we are. We're going to be at 70 degrees today. Here it is December, and we're going to be at 70 again next Wednesday. So a lot of people are thinking, I want to deep fry that turkey. I want to do this, and because I've never done it before. Well, that just as soon as I hear that, I hear recipe for disaster. Yeah, and you know what I'm talking about, right?
Well, I tell you, the deep fried method, I don't know if you've ever tasted it, but it's delicious.
It is.
As long as you're doing it, outdoors and you're using a fully thawed turkey, those are the things to remember. It's a delicious method, though. It's very quick. It's 3.5 to 4 minutes per pound. And there are definitely some safety measures you want to take as far as, remembering how hot that oil is needing to get in order to properly fry that turkey. But it really is a delicious method. So we're definitely advocates of it. And we have a lot more in-depth instructions, tips, and tricks when it comes to deep frying that whole turkey. But thumbs up, we're advocates of it.
We used to have a family restaurant in St. Louis, and we would take Butterballs and we would deep fry them as a Thanksgiving, pre-Thanksgiving meal. And we would do that, deep fry them in a commercial deep fryer. Now, you want to talk about a delicious turkey. Unbelievable.
Yes, for folks who are listening, if they've not tasted it, you won't forget it. I mean, they're delicious. They really are.
But you have to be careful. Like you say, there's a lot of splatter at first, especially because of the moisture on the bird. So you want to, as much moisture off that bird as you can. Just tap it with a paper towel and try and get it as dry as you can before putting it in that grease. Because you said it can splatter. That grease is at least 350 degrees.
I tell you, you're right. 365 to 375 are the recommendations. Masterbuilt are the folks who put out those fryers. and we adhere to their directions. And you're right. In order to get that oil to 375, that's going to take a good 45 to 90 minutes
Right.
just to heat up that oil, and you
Yeah.
don't want to leave it unattended. So
No.
it definitely is some safety measure, to keep in mind there.
But it is delicious.
It sure is, absolutely.
And don't throw water on it if it starts to get out and you get a little fire around. Please do not throw water on your grease fire. That's just going to make it 1,000 times worse.
Nope, definitely use a lot of caution, but
Yeah.
it is quite delicious.
Yeah, very good. All right, so we're about ready to wrap things up, Nicole. Any last words you want to tell for our people to have their Thanksgiving bird? Besides, obviously, Butterball.com is a great resource for anybody, but maybe something that you've heard in the past about Christmas that maybe our listeners have not heard about with Butterball that you might want to interject right now?
Oh, sure. Just to remember, if they're thinking about a Butterball turkey for their Christmas meal, it is best to go ahead and purchase it now. That's going to give you more accessibility to the size you're looking for.
Okay.
But not to be afraid to go a little bit larger, right? We talked about so many different and fun ways to incorporate those leftovers. If you're looking for new ways to incorporate leftovers, visit Butterball.com. Again, if you're on social media, we have recipes on Facebook, on Twitter. We're new on TikTok this year. And just to remember, we're here to help. We're here to help get you cooking. We're accessible at 1-800-BUTTERBALL, email, chat, text. We're also on that Alexa skill set. If you have that in your kitchen, it's a hands-free device to get our information. And we are here through Christmas Eve from 8 to 2 Central, so reach out. We're here to help you.
Yeah, and don't be embarrassed about asking for help. We don't cook turkeys that often, and if you want to get it done right, and you do, you want to make a great meal, contact Butterball.com. It's the easiest way to get the experts online or on the phone with you to walk you through the process.
Absolutely. That's why we're here to help. Couldn't agree more.
Nicole, I want you and your family, all of those Butterballs you have at home, to have a wonderful Christmas and enjoy I'm sure you're going to have some turkey at Christmas, right?
Oh, you better believe it. We sure are. How'd you guess?
It was wild. I thought I pulled that one out of the air. But I hope you and yours have a very, very Merry Christmas and the happiest of New Years.
Christmas. Yes.
Thank you for your time and getting maybe some questions answered by our listening audience. We do really appreciate you and all the friends at Butterball, because for years we've been doing these interviews, and every year is a little bit different. We learn a little bit something new from somebody else, and that's what it's all about. But keeping your options open with Butterball.com, you're going to find great recipes. You're going to find options that maybe you never, ever imagined using with a turkey. And I'll tell you what, sometimes it's eye-opening, but you got to try it, don't you?
That's right. You need to try. Well, thanks for talking turkey.
Thank you very much, and you have yourself a wonderful day.
Okay, you too. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Nicole. Thank you. Here at KSMO Radio, that's our Butterball interview this year with Nicole Johnson from Butterball.com. Now, that number again, if you would like to call them, is 1-800-288-8372. You can call them, or 1-800-BUTTERBALL. That's the easiest way to remember. That's 1-800-288-8372 or 1-800-BUTTERBALL. You can text them at Butterball.com, 844-877-3456. That's 844-877-3456. And you can also email them if you want to. You can go to their website at butterball.com and just go to what they have, their media section. You can email them under their contact us, or you can chat live with them. They have a chat expert there as well. And of course, as she mentioned, you got the videos that are on their website that make it really easy. They show you how to carve a turkey. They show you how to prepare a turkey. They do a lot of different things, and you can watch it. You can back it up and watch it again if you miss something. So a lot of wonderful information on the Butterball.com website. Again, that phone number, if you'd like to call them, it is 1-800-288-8372 or 1-800-BUTTERBALL. And their text number is 844-877-3456. Again, I want to thank Nicole Johnson and our friends at Butterball for keeping you informed on how to prepare your turkey. All right, keep it right here, KSMO Radio 1340. We got AP News coming up, and then we have for you statewide news from the Missouri Net. We have civic happenings and more coming your way on this Friday morning. It is December the 10th.
Your information source. KSMO Salem. This is AP News. I'm Rita Foley. You've noticed those higher prices for groceries, electronics, clothing, and other items. Now it's official.
Consumer prices in November were up 6.8% from a year earlier, leading to the highest annual inflation rate in nearly 40 years. Inflation has been up sharply during the economy's quick pandemic recovery, due in part to everything from factory supply shortages to employers who have boosted pay to attract workers and then boosted prices. Some economists hope inflation will peak in coming months, with supply shortages gradually easing and oil and natural gas prices dropping. Sagar Magani, Washington.
Are you working back in the company office yet? Companies are struggling with how and when to bring employees back in this pandemic era. Google and Ford are among those who are once again delaying return to office plans as the new Omicron variant forces some to rethink their plans. The nation will say goodbye to Bob Dole beginning next hour, a man President Biden has called a friend. The AP's Mike Kempen.
There will be a private service at Washington National Cathedral and a public one at the World War II Memorial. President Biden plans to speak at the cathedral ceremony along with Dole's family and close friends. His casket then travels to the World War II Memorial for a public celebration of life, featuring Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Mark Milley and actor Tom Hanks. Dole served nearly 36 years in Congress. He died Sunday at the age of 98.
AP correspondent Mike Kempen reporting. An Israeli newspaper is reporting that earlier this year during an interview, former President Trump blasted former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for congratulating Joe Biden on his White House win. Mr. Trump reportedly using words we can't say on the air. This is AP News. Lawmakers in New York City have decided to give non-citizens the right to vote in local elections. There is still one more hurdle before this becomes law.
The New York City Council has voted to allow residents who are not citizens of the United States to vote in municipal elections. The measure, if enacted, would take effect in 2023 and apply to 800,000 green card holders and so-called dreamers. The measure now goes to Mayor Bill de Blasio, who has said he would not veto it. Non-citizens of New York City would not be able to vote for president or members of Congress in federal races or to vote in state elections for governor, judges, or legislators. More than a dozen communities across the United States already allow non-citizens to cast ballots in local elections. But last year, Alabama, Colorado, and Florida adopted rules that would preempt non-citizen voting rights. Arizona and North Dakota already had non-citizen voting prohibitions on the books. I'm Mike Gracia.
And I'm Rita Foley, AP News.
Made for agriculture, we are MFA.
Get your calves off to a good start with MFA branded feeds. With time-tested, proven feeds like Cattle Charge and Full Throttle, you can put pounds on your calves quickly, efficiently, and safely. The feed-to-gain ratios speak for themselves. A good start is critical for this year's calf crop. Financing is available. Get a great start with MFA feed.
We are MFA.
Hi, Carrie Patton here from Town & Country Bank. We've got all the perks of a national bank, like online banking, quick loan approval, and you can even deposit your check from your phone. That's not why our customers love us, though. They love us because we still offer hometown customer service. Stop by one of our area locations and let our friendly team remind you how special hometown banking can be. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
On Missouri Net, I'm Matt Kelly. Prosecutors in Stone County have until the end of the year to respond to a call to drop all charges against 3 men in the 2018 duck boat tragedy. The 3 face 17 counts of involuntary manslaughter after 17 people died when the amphibious boat sank in a storm on Table Rock Lake. The top priority of the State Board of Education for the upcoming legislative session is to raise the minimum teacher salary from $25,000 to $35,000 a year. Board member Mary Schrog of Southeast Missouri's West Plains Plains says teachers are professionals and they should be paid like other professionals.
When we drive by McDonald's, we see a lot of advertising for $15 to $17 an hour. When you put that into a salary context, you're looking at between $32,000 and $35,000 a year.
The board also wants to launch a commission that would recommend ways to boost teacher recruitment and retention. Minimum teacher pay set by the state hasn't been raised in 16 years. This is Missouri Net.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
Alcoholism is a disease that can affect any family. Everyone suffers, but there is help and hope at Al-Anon Family Groups.
Al-Anon gave me my life back. I'm a better father and husband.
Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking? Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Local and virtual meetings are available. Maybe one could work for you. Call 1-866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
Everyone plays a role in ensuring children are safe, healthy, and successful learners, which is why we created earlyconnections.mo.gov.
While parents are a child's first teacher,
our programs and communities work toward a shared goal of supporting families to develop future generations.
That is an example of collective impact.
Visit earlyconnections.mo.gov
to learn more about supporting children and families in your community.
A message from Department of Elementary and Secondary Education and its important partners.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events. Make sure you have the right policy for each of life's wins.
A life event could qualify you for a discount. Call me, Willie Strader, your Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent, and we will make sure you have the coverage you need.
Play Monsters Drone Home is an out-of-this-world game. Race to launch your aliens down the ramps to land inside the drone and take off before others knock you out. It's fast-paced fun for the whole family, and the first game to include a real flying drone. Play Monster Drone Home is available at Walmart, Target, and online.